Hello, welcome to AI in Action. My name is Maurie. I'm here with my husband, Jim, and we are going to answer a question tonight. And that question is AI slop breaking the internet? Specifically, is it breaking it for children? What I mean by this is that we've been seeing a trend. Things like it's not just bad information that we're getting from the internet. What we're actually getting now, because of artificial intelligence, is we are getting things that are not fully fake. There's just enough truth in them. I think the old saying is that a good lie has an element of truth in it. So you're having this content that's not 100% fake, but there's enough fake in it that it's not good information. Also, things that are not obviously harmful can actually turn out to be harmful. You can have things that are not clearly human. You have people putting things out there that have absolutely no judgment. They're just chasing the dollar, which that's not necessarily new. And it is more and more and more organized and optimized just to keep you scrolling, just to keep your attention. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight is AI slop breaking the internet as we know it.
I actually had 3 goals.
3 goals. The first goal should be to make a comment about our new paint job. You're behind us.
That wasn't one of my goals.
Yes, that should be the big thing because I am doing it again. I am refreshing the podcast room, and Jim's just having to live with it.
What a surprise.
All right, so let's talk about this.
The three things.
Okay.
I wanted to define it because not everybody probably knows what it is.
Okay.
And I wanted to talk a little bit about why the heck do you even care?
It's important to have a reason to care.
Yes. And the last thing is really important to me. What the heck are you going to do about it?
That's a big one. Well, the first thing that I wanted to say is that, it's not just that the kids are seeing things that are fake or things that are not true. It's that they are being fed endless, meaningless things.
Mhm.
Okay. I know that our daughter-in-law the other day was showing us some pictures that were AI generated, and she's sitting there scrolling through all of these pictures that are AI generated little GIFs,
Yeah.
and they were just ridiculous. But she sat there for probably half an hour just sitting there looking at these AI
They're
GIFs.
made to be addictive.
They're made to be addictive. So
So
first thing I
let me
wanna
give you the
do
definition.
Yeah, I want you to define what is AI slop, and don't do it in a gym. I'm the engineer. Pretend like you're the educator, and let's define it for me in just plain
Okay, I can't
language.
promise you that. I got a definition I
Okay.
liked.
All right.
Cheap, mass-produced AI content made to satisfy algorithms instead of people. What does that mean? Well,
They're not even worried about what the people are wanting.
well, I know that part, but the satisfy algorithms may not be as clear unless you have something to do with search engine optimization stuff, or you've dealt with trying to get, these search engines to pick you up.
Which I have.
Search engine optimization stuff, as you well know, means that I'm trying to get the algorithm, I'm trying to give it what it wants. And the algorithm is Google search, YouTube search, Facebook or, Meta's
Spotify, Apple
crap.
Podcasts.
TikTok has an algorithm.
Right.
TikTok is slightly different because the algorithm chooses everything for you. It's really kind of worse.
Mhm.
I mean, on some of the other ones, the algorithm doesn't necessarily choose what you want. You can choose. But as I understood TikTok when it first came out anyway, it literally said, we're going to feed you whatever the algorithm says.
Okay, so let's think about that for a second. So when I first signed up for, at the time it was Twitter. When I first signed up for Twitter years ago,
Did you get rid of that for me
yes.
before I knock it over?
Thank you. It actually asked me, what type of content do you want to see? And I had to go through and say, I want to see things to do with education. I want to see, I had to pick
All
like
of
the
them do
top
that,
10
yeah.
things. I think they all do that. You're correct. I don't know if TikTok's doing it now, but I know it did not at one point.
No, at first it just fed you whatever it wanted to feed you, and then over time it learns you. But
It learned what you
anyway,
watched to the end.
So I got a few examples.
Okay.
You mentioned one weird,
AI kid videos.
AI. You mentioned the little short GIF kind of things.
Well, and you see those little videos about, see this animal do this crazy thing, and you watch it and you go, there's no way that animal just did that.
Oh, I know. There's talking bears and all that. Some of it's obvious. Synthetic podcasts are one of them that I had listed because that stuff's half the ones I'm seeing now. They're literally done with Notebook LM.
Yeah.
You can tell by the voice.
Yeah.
I like Notebook LM, but I don't want somebody to generate a podcast. I can do that myself. Send me a PDF. I'll put it in Notebook LM and I'll generate my own podcast.
Right. Well, and that's we were actually watching a podcaster the other day, and I kinda looked at it, and I was like, "I wonder if they're AI generated." And so you and I went down the rabbit hole to do some research
They
on this
still, I'm
podcaster,
still not clear.
and I'm still not clear.
She says she's not.
They actually did a podcast about how they were not AI generated, but then we noticed they have 2 different channels, and one of them is one thing, and the other one is their primary channel's name dash AI. So you have to wonder if they've broken into 2 channels, one of which is actually them, and one of them is actually an AI generated image of themselves.
The thing that was interesting to me, and I sound like one of those conspiracy theorists, the person, it's a female, she's very pretty, but she doesn't have any remarkable distinguishable features on her face. So she could be AI generated, but she made a big deal out of not being AI generated and said, I could do this to prove it, or I could do that to prove it, but I'm not going to.
Because you just need to trust me.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I have trusted. That works for some people, doesn't work for me.
Well, in the current world, you need to have trust issues.
It never worked for me. I've always had trust issues.
Okay, what else? Fake experts.
Yeah, we say that all the time. There's fake experts that aren't AI generated. So that one's not the stuff that bothers me the most, which is the ones I tried to list here, which we just talked about a few. The AI written articles, I truly hate.
I know.
They all sound the same.
I know. But it kills me because just the other day, somebody else made a comment on LinkedIn about how they automatically pick out those words that are AI generated, like plethora or delve
Or that little dash thing,
or
whatever
the
it's
M
called.
dashes. But our daughter was in high school way before AI, and that was her favorite word was plethora.
Well, and I've been using
We
those
have a
M
hard
dashes
time
and
with
dot,
that.
dots. I've been using those forever. Now I can't
Always.
use them anymore
Right.
because the algorithm
So
says,
the question is, are we looking at this and going, this is AI generated, or are we writing things ourselves and then going, oh my God, that looks AI generated, and then going back and changing our habits and our vocabulary because we don't want people to think that we're AI generated.
you know what it means to me? It means you can stop correcting my grammar.
But your grammar still sucks.
I know, but bad grammar, AI is not supposed to have bad grammar.
Oh, okay.
Therefore, my bad grammar is a sign that I'm human.
Okay. All right.
See, it was all part of my plan. I
The
knew
other
it.
thing is the low effort images and videos that are
Oh
just
my
flooding
God. The
feeds.
videos on YouTube,
That's what I was talking
the
about.
commercials are even worse. There's one of them playing right now that's trying to sell me a solid state drive, and it doesn't even say terabyte correctly. It says TB, 32 TB. It's like, really?
I saw one the other day that had Harrison Ford in it. And
I did
was
too.
like,
And it was obviously generated.
that is not Harrison Ford. I hope he knows that they're doing that with his
Yeah.
likeness.
For one thing, if you look at the current images of him, he's older than that AI generated version of him. But anyway, that's
I do need to say that not all AI generated things are AI slop.
I agree with you.
I feel like if you're producing content and you're using an AI to help you produce that content, and it is a partner in production, it is a tool that you're utilizing. We use Riverside FM for this podcast, and I utilize the AI voice normalizer
You have to because of me.
you talk really low, I talk really loud.
So I've got this microphone stuffed in my
But
face.
you're basically got it up your nose there.
I know. I can't.
But anyway,
That way, maybe you'll be able to hear me.
I utilize that AI tool.
Mhm.
That doesn't make what we're doing AI slop.
Well, just because it's AI generated doesn't mean it's bad. Like when I go through and I'm doing research for the podcast, using an AI to help me with the research is fundamentally not any different. Well, now it's not different at all, but it's not different than using Google. But the difference is that I go through and verify. First of all, if I don't agree, then I change it. I don't keep doing that cycle of have the AI change, it. If I don't like it, I change it.
Right.
I delete stuff, I take stuff out. Or I take chunks of it out that I don't like, or I verify the sources that it gives me for some of the data. So I use it search engine kind of, sort of, and it also helps me organize it.
Yeah.
That AI slot, but even something fully AI generated, if the content it's giving you is good content, and I still believe a human should curate that to make that assessment, then
Then why not?
I don't mind it.
Then why not?
But I do mind really bad commercials that flood the feed, and I mind the stuff that is so obviously just for the algorithm.
Okay, so I had a conversation today with our theater teacher, and she was saying that she had the students, they were doing like a radio broadcast, almost like an interview type thing,
Mhm.
as part of their theater class. And she said that she brought in the AI and she actually put them into groups. She got the AI, put it up on the screen. She had them have a conversation with the AI about what they were wanting to ask the person, the top 10 things to ask the person.
Did she use Agnes?
She, I believe so,
Oh,
yes.
see, that's good to
I
hear.
believe so. And but then she said that after they did that, they discussed all of the ins and outs of it, what it told them that was right, what it told them they might change.
Make them
And then the
skeptics.
actual students had to go into Canva and then record the interviews and everything themselves in class to turn in the actual podcast themselves. So she was utilizing this as a tool and as something that was a partner in the group, and it just made my heart feel so good
Occasionally, someone listens to
that
us
this teacher was teaching the students the proper way to utilize artificial intelligence.
and making them a little
And
skeptical.
we're going to talk about that in just one second because right now I want to talk about why the kids are the first ones that are giving us this warning sign that this has gone too far
Well, we talked about this before. You've made comments during our presentations about how things that aren't normal to us
or normal to them.
become normal over time because it's all they know. And a good example of that I like because I love music and the range of music. Somebody did a
Uh-huh.
study. Somebody did a study that over time, the range, the tone ranges and stuff of
Uh-huh.
music has actually decreased,
Uh-huh.
and that kids actually think that these cheesy speakers we have now sound as good as the ones we used to have. Remember, we our goal when we were kids was to have a speaker that was taller than we were.
Right.
You know,
We would take up the
everybody
whole back seat
everybody
of the
had
car.
home speakers, that were 4 feet high, massive subwoofers. We the depth of the music mattered, but
You could
now
feel the music.
I wanted to feel it all the way in my shoes. But it wasn't just the volume; it was just how it sounded was richer and deeper.
Yeah.
It's less and less, and it became normalized because of all the electronics that we were using and the speakers that were in computers and stuff like that. Even the digital signal processors that took that music, that digitized music,
Uh-huh.
when they digitized it, it lost fidelity
Right.
over maybe an album or
And
something.
that's the way it is. I mean, we had the conversation at UT Austin about the old Coca-Cola commercial that they had redone the old Coca-Cola commercial when it comes in the 18-wheeler at Christmas time,
Yeah.
and they redid it all using AI stuff, and a lot of the people in the audience were really upset about it until someone made the comment that that's what the kids are gonna be seeing now, and so that's what they're going to become accustomed to,
Oh, they can
is
still
that
get
type.
upset about it.
But
That
those kids
but
don't know to get
it
upset about it.
normalizes
It
it.
normalizes it. So that's one of the things. The thing that upsets me is that I feel like a lot of the technology companies, a lot of the algorithms, a lot of the platforms that are out there, they utilize kids as this huge test group to see what gets clicked on, to see what gets watched, to see how long it gets watched. It's like they're utilizing it because
They gather data.
they're like they gather all this data and they're a test case because the test case for the kids, those kids go become adults and then they get to have like long-term sustainability with whatever it is those kids like because those kids, let's talk about a video game. Kids really started liking video games. And I'm noticing now that a lot of the 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, they're not necessarily playing as many video games, but those 30-year-olds still are.
Yeah, because
It's
they were
they
pre-programmed
were
to do that.
pre-programmed, and so
Yeah.
what I'm afraid of is that they're taking and they're
They're
utilizing
nudging kids in a
they're
direction.
nudging kids in a specific direction, and it's because the kids are easy to nudge. They're still developing. Psychologically, emotionally,
Yeah.
physically, everything is still developing in teens and teenagers, and so it's like, their attention spans, their judgment, their reality of what is reality and what is not reality,
ADHD medications on the
their
rise.
yeah, I mean, their emotional regulation. If a kid sees something in a video that is disturbing, an adult might be able to deal with it a lot better than a kid can deal with it because they haven't gotten that emotional
Well, you
regulation
normalize
worked
things
out.
like remember in the 80s 70s, 80s, even there in some of the 90s, if you use profanity,
It got
it got
noticed.
bleeped on the
Yeah,
radio. And so if you managed to use profanity, it was a big deal.
right.
And sometimes you could actually get in a lot of trouble for it. Now,
It's nothing.
as a matter of fact, when they play music at our basketball games,
Bleep, 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 bleep.
they play the 1980s music
Yeah,
because there's no profanity in it.
yeah.
Anyway, the point is that
My grandma used to always tell me, "Maury K, don't cuss." And I'd say, "Why, Mimi?" And she'd say, "Because if you don't cuss, ever so often when you do say a cuss word, people are gonna know you're really upset."
and you don't cuss
Eh,
much.
it's true. The other thing that I don't like about the things that they're doing with the students and the kids and getting them, like, addicted to this new paradigm is that they do trust adults.
Well,
They
adults are
do
supposed to be
trust
guiding them,
leaders.
not using them
Right.
as
So this trust
test
is there.
dummies.
This trust is already there because 10 years ago, what they saw, they probably, it's like, okay, yeah, that's probably real. And now 10 years later, the kid that was 10, who is now 20, has that trust. And so when they see it, they don't know to question it.
I know I definitely trained my kids to be a bit skeptical of things, but I doubt very seriously everyone out there is trying to train their kids to be skeptical.
Right.
And I'm not raising a kid right now. We're
Eh,
with AI. I raised a kid before these
before, yeah.
language models hit.
Yeah.
It might have even been hard for me. The fact that you and I, as people who have been messing with this stuff since it came out, since before it came out, sat there for 10 minutes discussing whether or not a YouTuber was real or not
Right.
gives
Scary.
you an idea how and we are critical. We also know a lot about AI. And we still are not 100% sure even now.
So what are we going to do? We're going to err on the safe side and just kind of assume that's probably AI generated.
If
And
that's the safe side.
that's because we're skeptical. And therefore we're like, I bet it is AI generated. So we're going to vet the stuff that we hear on this podcast.
Yep.
Kids aren't learning that. Kids are not learning that because, um, you know, adults do recognize junk, I think, more often. But the young kids are just absorbing and assuming it's normal to
I
see
used to
this
think
stuff.
I had a very finely tuned BS filter. It's getting harder to tune the filter nowadays. There's so much BS out there. It's getting swamped.
We're getting old.
Hmm.
And, but I got to say this too. Last week, we talked about screen time
We talked about not using
and
phones.
not using phones and stuff. Screen time isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's the kind of screen time that is shaping the kid into what they are.
Yeah. We're gonna have another podcast about screen time. The
Okay.
last time it was phones. This time we're gonna talk about screen time. As a matter of fact,
So
I was thinking about doing that next week,
let's talk
unless
about
we have a
just
guest.
how subtle this can be.
Well, as I was doing the research, I didn't really have to research this one because it's not hard to figure out.
No,
We talked about that a second ago. It's easier to push somebody to nudge somebody a direction than push them. It's easier to
slow
gently
them
pull
down.
them. It's sort of like your dad with his rocks. We drive up and there'd be one rock sitting somewhere that we knew shouldn't be there, and over time he built a wall.
There's a fence.
There's a wall. There's a wall he built up. It's kind of the same idea. If they just keep bumping you along, you don't notice you're being bumping. Anything that's there long enough feels normal.
Background noise.
Yeah, if it starts feeling normal, it's like the loss of fidelity of music or the fact that, I mean, AI stuff is becoming normalized already in some cases. But I think there's also a growing backlash with the younger kids.
I've been hearing a lot
I've
about
been
the
hearing, I don't know if it's true or not.
anti-tech parties and stuff like that, where kids are like trying to get together and making the other kids leave their phone at the table when they walk
Maybe.
in.
I hope so. I hope they're becoming skeptics. And
I
that
hope so.
teacher you mentioned
Yes,
makes you hopeful.
it does make me very hopeful. So tell me some of the subtle harms.
Well, the subtle, so we already talked about most of them. The stuff I listed through here, imitation, you talked about the video that was not even the person,
Right.
using somebody else's image in these videos. That's a huge problem that Hollywood's talking about. The attention hijacking,
Attention hijacking is very important.
oh, they meant social media has been
Okay,
doing that
so
for a while.
I was
Video
listening.
games have been doing
I
that
was
for a while.
listening to a different podcast today when I was in my car, and they were talking about adults.
Was it AI generated?
No, it was not. They
You
were
can
talking
tell she's
about
not AI generated.
adults, and they were talking about it was a lady from Harvard that does social interaction studies, and it was about loneliness.
Hmm.
And that attention hijacking, they were talking about how much time we waste not making human connections because as soon as we have a spare moment, our phone hijacks our attention.
I have been thinking about getting a flip phone. You guys made fun of me. See, again, I was ahead of my time. I had a flip phone when smartphones were 3 generations out. The people at a booth, it was, I think, a Samsung booth at a
Booths.
tech booth in San Antonio, actually asked me not to bring my phone out.
Yeah.
They're like, "You know what? We could give you a good discount on a new phone,"
Yeah.
because I had a flip phone with that I had taped the display together because it had come apart,
Yeah.
but I could make phone calls and I could get texts. I
The
didn't
other
care about anything
the
else.
other thing that concerns me as a someone with a background in counseling is the overstimulation that AI and the AI generated videos and stuff like that are giving kids. I was leaving the
Or
grocery
adults like
adults
me
too.
like me.
Well, it's true. You go down so many rabbit holes and you literally 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. I never know what you're going to be talking about on any given
Well,
day.
I
And
literally find myself physically fatigued if I go down too many of those rabbit holes.
right.
I think I think that dopamine hit that I get burns out, and then I'm like, "Okay, this is I can't do this
I
anymore."
was walking out of the HEB today in Marble Falls, and there was a lady in front of me that had a little girl that was following along behind. And the little girl had a cell phone, an iPhone in her hand, and she was watching a video. And as she was watching the video on the iPhone, she's bouncing up and down and bouncing up and down. And you could tell she's like really into this video. And they go to walk out, and I almost stopped the mom to tell her thank you because the mom realized that the little girl was not paying attention. And the little girl didn't have the mom's hand. The little girl didn't have a hold of the buggy. She was literally 4 feet behind her by the time they got out. And the little girl's still looking at this video. And I'm sitting here watching this going, oh my God, that little girl's going to walk into traffic. The mom thankfully said, put the phone down before we go outside, before we go in the parking lot. Come hang hold the butt. The little girl didn't want to do it, man. She wasn't happy about that, but she
Yeah.
did what she was told. Excuse me. I was in Austin the other day. A man walked out of Dick's Sporting Goods with his cell phone in front of me, just looking down. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's about to cross in front of me in the crosswalk. So I went ahead and stopped. Not only did he not stop and look, he walked directly toward my car because he was angling toward the parking lot.
Okay, is this an AI problem or
I
just a phone
had to
problem?
honk at him or he was going to walk into my car.
This is a phone problem, not an AI
But
problem.
what was he doing on his phone? I promise you, he was scrolling and he was watching some AI slop video.
There's so many AI slop, it's probably true. The one thing that, because we're gonna run out of time, we're already over halfway
I
there.
really don't care.
I
We're
do.
good.
I do. I had lots of material that I put in
Okay.
here.
All right.
Um, one of the things that you and I talk about a lot, and we've been talking, I mean, I put some notes in there about it not just being a kid problem because it's
I was just
not.
talking about the man walking into my car. It
Yeah,
is not just a kid problem.
I do worry on the adult side of it. I do worry about stuff like the political stuff
That's a big one.
because it's so easy for not just people in the United States, but our foreign adversaries to create these controversial things. Because if they can keep us stirred up about internal stuff, then we forget about what they're
Everything
doing in
else.
the wider world, what's going on in the wider
Right.
world. And that's a very old political tactic.
Oh,
And it's a very, very easy one for people to do. And it's bad enough when our own politicians do it.
right.
But when you start getting, other countries doing it as well,
Feeding us misinformation.
feeding us, and it's so easy to generate,
It is.
and they
And make
are,
it look real.
and they're playing the algorithms, and I want to have time. That's why I said we're going to run out of time because I want to get to the end where I talk about what some of the people are these companies are actually at least pretending like they're doing about it,
Mhm. Okay.
but then what I would do about it as well
Okay.
if I was a
All
parent
right.
these
The
days.
other thing, not just the political thing, but I want to mention scam content.
Oh my God, we
It,
get so
it
much
is
of it at work
so
now.
hard to be able to recognize what is a scam now.
Well, we used to make fun of the fact that these scam emails would come in and they usually had very bad English grammar.
Grammar, they misspell
Now
verbs
they're
everywhere.
flawless.
Yes.
Now they're flawless. Now they sound like they were written by some person you actually know because they hack some account and were able to get in, and now we've got AI tools that are literally enhancing the ability for these people to break into accounts and steal credentials.
Right.
So yeah, it's getting harder and harder to fight off these things, these AI slop generators, which slop takes on a whole new meaning when it's deliberately designed to be harmful.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's one thing to subtly try to bump you toward buying their product. It's another one to sow discourse to make people.
Or to steal money, or to make people sign up for things that they're never gonna deliver, or to make, it's for it to be specifically a scam.
I had put in some suggestions that I had because in my research about what you should do, most of the suggestions we've already talked about. A lot of assumptions are made by these suggestions that AI makes and Google search makes. There's a lot of assumptions made about people taking the time to watch
Vet.
what their kids are doing, vet what their kids are doing. Good luck with that.
Mhm. Well, we did a talk the other day about AI companionship, and one of the things that
Mhm,
shocked people was that you're 2 times more likely to have an AI companion if your household makes $75,000 or less.
mhm.
Well, it's the same thing when it comes to parents not being able to regulate what the kids are doing online. If the parents are working double jobs or night jobs or everything
I think
else,
we did a podcast about that
these kids are not getting the type of education that they need and the type of monitoring that is desperately needed in the world of AI. Before you go to what you're going to talk about closing, tell me why platforms are allowing this to happen.
because they make money.
So
It's
it is still
incentivizes the algorithms were not designed to deal with this. The algorithms were designed, depending on which one you're on. Obviously, the people want to monetize it. If you're talking about Meta with Instagram and Facebook and all other stuff, or you're talking about Google with YouTube and you're talking about TikTok, all of these are optimized to feed you what you want
to get you devices.
and to get you to stay on the platform, to get you to doom scroll and to get clicks and all this other stuff. The AI isn't creating a new problem, it's accelerating the old one,
Okay.
which is how the heck do I get you to be on it? So the problem is their algorithms are so heavily monetized.
It's making it more profitable.
There's a thing they used to talk about in security. I used to go travel a lot in the airports. And one particular airline, which was the Israeli airlines, was very, very secure because they have issues with
There's no
terrorism and all
problems,
this
yeah.
other stuff. The one thing they said, I'd read an article about it, they said was you can't just have a routine because routines can be figured out
Mhm.
and then you figure out how to beat them. So they have random where they'd literally randomly pull people out. They would ask people random questions, that kind of stuff. These algorithms, because people figured them out over time, and the algorithms haven't changed because it was working, people were making money. Well, now these AI tools have figured it out and they are fine tuning the slop that they generate to make sure that the algorithm plays them the most because that's how you get the money.
Yeah, it's true.
So I gave you a closing question because we've been trying to have one of those. So I thought you might like that one.
Are we comfortable letting algorithms and synthetic content shape what children and eventually all of us think is normal? I'm not comfortable with it.
We ask the same question every time. What are you comfortable with? I mean, some variation on that.
The problem that we run into is
I
that
am
different
extremely
generations are comfortable with different things.
if you
And
let it continue, it's going to become just like the social media dumpster fire, where it's going to normalize it to the point where we all know that social media is
Mhm.
harming kids. We know it.
Yeah,
We also know that cigarette smoking for 150 years, we knew it was harming people. And look how hard it was to get cigarettes banned.
that's because it's so much money.
It was ingrained in the system. I mean, people had been growing tobacco for 500 years or however long they had. We had, Thomas Jefferson grew tobacco, that kind of thing. So it had been around forever. So this idea that suddenly you're going to go and start banning cigarettes,
Yeah, yeah. It,
it's too much money. You'd
well,
like
we talked about
collapse
it
the
last time.
economy
You can't give somebody something that gives them everything that they're looking for, and then all of a sudden, I'm going to take that away now.
because it's harmful.
Cigarettes are very, very addictive. You can't have a society that was really, really, really addicted to nicotine in the 50s and 60s and 70s or whatever, and then all of a sudden, oh no, bad for you. We're going to stop doing that.
Except it was causing horrible cancers. Well, now social media, we know it's bad for kids. That's why they're banning phones in schools. That's why they're talking about cutting back on screen time in schools. We know it's bad.
I was having a conversation with someone today that wanted to know my opinion about some of the schools that he's hearing about that were completely banning technology, where they're taking the Chromebooks out of the schools.
Yeah,
And the
that's
problem
that's
is
just,
you can't do it until the states
that's our
step
that's our
up.
next podcast.
Okay. Well,
You're
then
leading into our
we'll do
next
it
one.
next time.
But
Okay.
the whole thing about I don't think anyone in their right mind would answer that question that I'm okay with this happening. But in reality, we've been letting it happen for a while. Back to the whole AI thing. We should have been having this conversation 20 years ago. We're having it
Essentially.
now. So maybe the AI has helped us in that regard. I wanted to throw a few things out there because is anybody trying to fix this? Well, I found some headlines.
Okay.
YouTube, these are dating back even to current ones, even some a couple years ago. YouTube is expanding its AI deep fake detection tool. Well, it's not working.
No, it's
TikTok is letting users control. Of course, TikTok takes the other route. Well, we'll let you decide how much AI content you
and
have.
people watch it all the time.
Yeah, I know. And Instagram, which is, Meta, Instagram is getting an
AI
AI
creator
creator
label.
label,
Oh,
but
I know.
it's a
Yeah. Yeah.
voluntary account label.
Sure. I'll go ahead and click.
All those AI people that are generating it are going to voluntarily label themselves because they're honest. One of them I liked, which I've never heard of this thing called Deezer,
Mm-hmm.
but they're basically saying AI music sucks. And so they're detecting and labeling AI generated music and preventing their algorithm from recommending it and demonetizing it.
Okay, but hang on. You wrote me a song for
But I
our
didn't try to make money
anniversary.
on it.
Well, no, of course not. But I liked it.
But I didn't try to play it on the radio and make money. That's the problem. It's not there's not, I don't think any these people have an issue with me using an AI tool
To
to
do
create
something
to
fun.
create a fun song for you. The problem is there's not enough money in that.
Right.
The big money is
When
getting
you
it
get it on number one
if
of
you
the
get it
Blockbuster or
on
whatever.
some, you get some kind of
Billboard top 10.
whatever they call it now.
Yeah.
It used to be the top billboard things,
I think
but
there's still a billboard.
I don't think there's a
I
billboard.
have no idea.
Anyway, we're out of time, but I do next week want to talk about what you said a second ago with the screens in schools thing. I don't think we've talked about that. We talked about taking phones out. We talked about AI companions recently, but I have my own opinions about the whole screens in schools
Technology in
thing and
schools.
technology
And
that
it probably will surprise you.
it may not be what people think.
That's right. My name is Maurie. I'm here with my husband, Jim. Thank you guys so much for listening in. We hope you guys have a marvelous rest of the week.